introduce false narrative, reinforce it with your peers on social media, and therefore it becomes fact. This is brainwashing with $1 billion behind it. I don't want to hear anything else about all the dark money going to the NRA lobbyists and they control the Senate. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about tonight is something that I ran across that you guys need to know about. There's a new initiative going against our gun rights in this social media sphere. The article that I'm about to show you, which is linked in the description box below, is highlighting very specific what they're calling dark money, which is being funneled from billion-dollar leftist control groups towards a new group, which is all aimed at 13 to 25-year-olds and changing their minds on gun ownership so they won't do it themselves through social media and peer influencers. Doesn't that sound great? This fight is never going to stop until we continue to push them out of the narrative and take the narrative back, and that's what we are doing on this channel twice a day, every day. Thank you so much in advance for checking this out. Everything is linked. I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, Vulcan Arms, and then we're going to dive into this because I've got to expose this for you guys. The Vulcan Weatherlock gun bag has one-of-a-kind technology which is defeating the elements. Their Weatherlock technology is revolutionizing the way you store your firearms. Whether you are on a trip at the range or working out in the field, the Weatherlock series can stand up to the toughest environments. They have an IP rating of IPX6. This makes it almost impervious to dust, mud, water, and it's puncture resistant. These are the bags that you need if you are looking for more gear to go to the range the next time you're out. And I thank you so much for checking them out and to Vulcan Arms for making the video possible. But my brothers and sisters, I've got to expose you to some stuff that I found troubling because, like I said, this is a long-term fight. Every single day we are working to pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation, and we can't do it without you. This is another fight, and it's going into a new narrative because I've never seen them do this before. And while I walk you through this, keep in mind, it's all about dark NRA money, right? They own all the politicians, those mean lobbyists. It's all about money, right? Well, wait until I show you the billion-dollar funds that these gun controllers are being funded by. But enough setup, let's get it. Liberal Dark Money Network quietly launches gun group to create the narrative that guns make us less safe. Isn't it interesting when you think back? That's one of the new talking points, isn't it? From any politician to wannabe politician to candidate to gun control group, Moms Man Action, Giffords.org, it's all focused on guns make us less safe. Interesting. There are no coincidences. Everything is a interwoven web of infringements. It's the best way I can say it. But let's keep going. I've got to show you this stuff. A left-wing group aimed to shift public opinion against firearms quietly launched at the largest liberal dark money network in America, Fox News Digital has found. Project Unloaded, an anti-gun group, hopes to create a new cultural narrative that guns make us less safe by undertaking campaigns targeting teens and young adults, according to its website. Now, of course, if you've been with us for a couple months now, you know that the fastest growing demographic of gun owners in the United States are people who have traditionally not had that many guns or represented as new gun buyers. For example, minorities and women are the biggest groups. This is aimed directly at preempting this in the future. They've lost the battle right now, but that does not mean they're not going to continue going forward. And that is what this is. Here comes the social media influence. Here comes the influencers, and they've got billions backing this. Let's keep going. Quote, research shows that teens and young adults are forming opinions, yeah, no kidding, and making decisions about guns, Project Unloaded's website states. Through creative and cultural campaigns, Project Unloaded establishes safe spaces for open conversations about guns and provides accurate information about gun safety to inspire the next generation to choose on their own not to own a gun. That is called brainwashing. Because what do you bet that safe space doesn't have a lot of reaffirming data around the reason that we have a Second Amendment right, that it's in the Bill of Rights, that it is a constitutional right for every single American, regardless of color, race, or creed. The whole point here is this is a captive audience that they're trying to put in there and say this is accurate information when it is propaganda. Watch this channel. We debunk it all the time. Let's keep going because this is the stuff that is the next generation fight. Project Unloaded is not a standalone organization. Instead, it is a project of the New Venture Fund, a nonprofit incubator that acts as a fiscal sponsor to dozens of left-wing groups. Fiscal sponsorship involves a nonprofit providing its tax-exempt status to other groups, meaning they do not have to register with the IRS. Interesting. Again, there's that money tie-in, because I thought all the conservative groups in the NRA and all that was evil because they had money and they take advantage of the system. Meanwhile, look what they're doing. They're using a fund to get different groups to shelter from the IRS as tax-exempt status. Interesting. And there's hundreds of millions and billions of dollars funneling in through donations? Yeah, this isn't dark and shady at all. Let's keep going. The New Venture Fund is one of 4 nonprofits managed by the Washington, D.C. based Arabella Advisors, consulting firm that recently expanded its operations. Arabella also manages the 1630 Windward and Hopewell funds, which contain progressive groups below them. The 4 Arabella-controlled nonprofits raised $1.6 billion in 2020, positioning themselves as the country's most extensive dark money network. Again, all you got to do to figure out what a socialist or a communist or a gun controller, they're different things, I'm just listing them out, or anybody who's searching for control, to find out where their money's coming from, and you will find that money fuels them just like what they accuse the other people of doing. Money makes the world go round, but they're not bad for them, it's bad for everybody else. Let's keep going. Quote, with a focus on teens and young adults, Project Unloaded communicates engaging, accessible information about the risks about gun use via digital media platforms and peer influencers. It continues. Its goals are to permeate culture with the central message that guns make us less safe. Shift individual knowledge. Okay. Attitudes and behaviors during the formative teen years and build a community of like-minded peers to amplify this message. Introduce false narrative, reinforce it with your peers on social media, and therefore it becomes fact. This is brainwashing with $1 billion behind it. I don't want to hear anything else about all the dark money going to the NRA lobbyists and they control the Senate. Quote, through creative and cultural campaigns, Project Unloaded provided accurate information about gun violence to inspire the next generation to choose on their own not to use guns. A spokesperson for the group told Fox News Digital. Here comes the next part of this. Gun violence is the #1 killer of children and teens in the U.S. Abject lie. It is not. Gun violence, or violence that happens to use a gun, as a normal person would say, is heaviest in 18 to 21-year-olds, not children and teens. That is a lie, because earlier it was children. They got called on the lie, and now they said children and teens, even though it's adults 18 to 21, in very specific subsets of the population, by the way. Let's keep going. At Project Unloaded, our mission is to save lives by shifting America's gun culture to be based on the facts, which are clear that guns make us less safe. You notice how the big hole, the big elephant in the room there is they didn't say anything about constitutional rights, constitutional guarantees. They just said to make you more safe. Do you want me to list out all the different dictators and all the different regimes that ended up harming their populations because they were making them more safe? The goods of the many over the needs of the few? Any history buffs out there? I got a few more things for you. So far this year, Project Unloaded has launched the Safer Not Using Guns campaign, which recruited at least 7 young social media influencers with large followings, according to online videos. Each influencer recorded a video promoting the campaign, claiming the movement does not take sides in the gun debate. Okay. Yeah, I guess they are going towards 1325s. But check this out. This is where the headwinds are against them. The group polled 1,000 people aged 13 to 25 nationwide and found that young people fear gun violence, but also think guns keep them safe. It is common sense. It's not that hard. Even 13-year-olds understand this. But when presented with facts that show that having a gun actually increases the risk of death or injury, young people shifted their opinion by an average of 17 percentage points, the Trace wrote. The Trace is a gun control outfit as well. You're telling me that when you present all the facts on an equal playing field, they choose, safety over rights? I'm sure you said everything about constitutional rights, Second Amendment, all the sacrifices, all the blood that's been spilled for those people to have those rights. I'm sure you hit all those topics. And that's what we do every single day in, day out, twice a day. Because we are going to pass this to the next generation, and this is the next frontier of the fight. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think in the comments field below.